I won't lie for you guys, Tekken 8 is possibly my favorite fighting game for a plethora of reasons now, but I finally feel like I've encountered a fighting game that is trying to teach me how to get better at it, or at least get better at using specific things within a game. And the reason I say that is because within the FGC, I think it wouldn't be wrong for someone as a beginner to express that they don't know how to get better at the game. So what happens is they go to forums, they go online, there's YouTubers that make content, there's pros that make content on specific things that you want to get answered and deal with. But what Tekken 8 has done so well and has crafted so well within the whole package and given you this holistic product and experience is allow you to learn Tekken 8 within Tekken 8. Now, we already know that within Tekken 7 there was the punishment mode training. They did lapse on giving us frame data immediately. It was made DLC eventually. But what happened was that while it was a good training mode, you could look at your replays, you could see what you could have done differently. That was great. That is also here in Tekken 8. It just feels like this is the ability to take it to another level, and that is because of how the game goes about presenting it to you. What I've always struggled with in fighting games is the fact that you boot up the game, you play story mode, you mash on a bunch of characters that you may not have an interest in, or you constantly have to open up a menu list to see what they could do in order to advance the story, yada yada yada. Story ends, and then you've got two options. Either do the offline content that they possibly offer, or you can go ahead do arcade mode, you could hop online, or you could go to practice mode. Now, a lot of people may not go to practice mode because, simply put, they don't know exactly what to practice. However, with Tekken 8 offering the arcade quest, this really takes learning Tekken to another level. But that's not even the key feature I want to talk about. The key feature I want to talk about is the replay takeover system. But let me tell you how Arcade Quest really solved a big issue, not only for me, but I think it will solve a big issue for many newcomers to not only the Tekken 8, but once we have these things in place in other fighting games, to the whole genre on a whole. What Arcade Quest seeks to do is kind of be like Story Mode 2.0, because you get this OC, you create a character, you go ahead and you have a goal of getting to the last arcade in order to basically, win Tekken World Tournament. So you go around crushing different arcades, and along the way you get more support from your friends and you learn what type of people play Tekken. And it's really good in the sense that there are some people who love to play Tekken simply for playing Tekken. There are some people who love the customization aspect of Tekken, and then there are the serious rank grinders, and then on top of that, the elitists who feel they're better than everybody because they take part in tournaments. So Tekken is well represented within Tekken 8. But what occurred to me was that Arcade Quest wasn't just a case of crush this arcade, go to the next one, crush this arcade, go to the next one. You've got your friend Max helping you and showing you the way in order to improve at Tekken in a lot of fundamental ways. So first things first, once you pick your character, you're going through this quasi-story in order to get to the end, but with an added achievement bonus when you complete tasks that Max gives out to you. So for example, he may tell you to use crushing moves within this round, use 2, then he may come on to say, hey, in this round you've got to land more than 60 damage. So your objective is to do this or do that. And now you have a case now where that feels very inviting to new players, because fighting games have a bad way about teaching you how to learn the game. It just feels so very isolated. Within RPGs and other games, they might give you these mini tasks, and as you go on, you learn about what this feature does. So you learn how to use limit break, or you learn that you could fuse your persona. You know what I mean? Every other genre has a way of teaching you the game while you're playing the game. It just feels like the learning process, or the learning the general mechanics, the learning of the general mechanics in fighting games feel very separate from the fighting game itself. And I think Arcade Quest does a fantastic job of essentially eliminating that disconnect that a lot of fighting games have with teaching their player base how to get better while still not feeling like you've just got to sit down for 4 hours within the lab, within practice room, trying to learn a matchup for what you would like to be a much shorter time. But the key feature that I'm loving so far is the replay mode, replay takeover. So first things first, right up now we have all of these options that you can go ahead and display when you're putting in your practice mode rework sessions. But what I love the most is the ability to take over. So let me show you this. This first round, I was basically being terrorized by this Azucena that was using this move. I didn't know how to deal with it because I don't know the properties of the move. So the Azucena was essentially just getting away with murder. And of course, I'm still learning Victor and overall Tekken on a whole. Now, I know y'all might be like, hey, how come Persona, what happened to Jin? And Jin is still there, don't worry. I just love Victor. Victor is just cool. It just gives me that Metal Gear vibe. And that's why I had to basically make Cyborg Ninja Grey Fox and, just kind of mess around with that skin that he has there in order to, just kind of feel a bit more immersed in playing Victor. And I just love the way he moves. Y'all can't convince me that that is not an HF blade on his side. But that was the first round, and like I said, this particular move right here was just giving me hell, and I clearly did not know how to deal with it appropriately. So what you can do as a new player is just say that Azucena is very cheap, and that move is just busted, and you need to nerf Azucena. But Tekken 8 is like, nah, you've got enough tools to learn how to deal with that. So let's just enable the ability to control my character for this replay. So what could have happened there? I could have just, completely played defensive and continued to hold back. Or, now that I know the properties of the move, I can see that it is a high move, which means I could have ducked it. So I ducked it twice. If I knew that the player was gonna home in on using that technique, I could have ducked. So there's a lot of options that are available in Tekken. Like, Tekken doesn't just have a one solution for every single situation, but it's a case where if it is that you're learning how to deal with something and you know your character to a certain extent, then you know how to appropriately deal with situations. Because one way, aside from ducking, I duck in this situation. Victor has a perfect tool for that. So I duck, Wild Rising 1, and you start a combo. So that is a legit something that I could have done. Or simply sidestep. We know the power of sidestepping in this game. Just sidestep too late, boom, you just sidestep and you deal with that issue. Neutral block came through there. Or what I could have done is deal with it myself, like retaliating with a power crush move of my own. And there you see, you can get that appropriate punish. Now look at how much I could have done in terms of damage on that Azucena from a simple, better reaction to that. Look at her HP. Instead of how the round proceeded, I could have punished appropriately. So that's just because of the fact that you could power crush. But you have to know when to power crush. So we could have traded. It could have been a case where I did that power crush, but you have to see. So boom, I power crushed, and then I started our combo, and boom. This is all off of one simple mistake. And you see I had control of my character for 10 seconds. This feature, which is coincidentally also in Under Night in Birth 2. Goated game for having this feature. Tekken wants you to get better at Tekken. A matter of fact, that's the whole point of Arcade Quest. It's showing you these little things and how to get better. So gone are the days where you're just like, I don't know how to react to this, or labbing feels frustrating because now you have to recreate that situation. No, the situation is right here. And the point is, I could take control of my character at any point within the match. It's just for an interval of 10 seconds. So you could see at different points in the match where you messed up. But this particular part was a problem for me because I just did not know what Azucena was doing with this move. But now I feel a bit more equipped if I fight an Azucena, what I can do. So what are my options? I could just duck. I could just duck it. I could also defend. I could also duck, and you see, but because of the fact that that was there, you don't want to actually do that again, because had I done that and I went for a fast move, yes, I get a bit of chip damage, but because she's armor crushing, well, power crushing, sorry, you wouldn't really get much out of it. Or you could just simply through. There's a lot of things that you could do. So you could boom here and just through. If you notice that your opponent was gonna spam that, it's just that you no longer have a reason to be making the excuse, oh, Victor's damage is stupid, by the way. But you don't have to necessarily be feeling stuck in this game to say that, look, I don't know what to do about this particular situation because, you know, this character is just busted. It's a case where you have all the tools to take advantage of what you can do in this game. And then, of course, that's not all. When we get to training mode, obviously training mode is still full of all of these essentials. But the thing I like the most is the fact that the punishment, which is right, the punishment, which is right here, you could actually set preset punishes, or you could just go ahead and record something. So what do I want to deal with? I want to deal with Kazuya's electric wind guard fist, or, you know, something else. God fist, like probably just do something like that. And I set that, you record that movement, and now you put your opponent to block. Very simple. It just genuinely feels very streamlined. Like, it's just like, okay, I feel like my opponent does that, boom, what do I do now? You know, you just practice. It's just a great experience, and I really think this is the ability, or this gives players, new players, the ability to bridge the gap in terms of how intimidating fighting games can be. This is the standard, guys. I don't know what else to say, but let me tell y'all something. There's way more Tekken 8 videos to come, way more Tekken 8 analysis videos to come, because this game is loaded, and on top of that, we've only now begun to experience Tekken 8. But that is all I wanted to talk to you guys about in today's video. I hope you take advantage of all the features that Tekken has to offer. Play everything. Play the character episodes. Play the story mode. Go through arcade quests. Go through everything. And of course, don't be afraid to hop online and lose, because you could only learn from it due to the fact that you could go back and play that again. Don't be afraid to lose. What is the problem is if you lose, you get upset and you don't go back and you work on your mistakes. That's a you thing, but don't allow that to be you forever. But I will see you guys in the next video. But until then, stay gaming.